My name is Frank Giannino. I'm one of the race directors for the Classic 10K. Years ago, Frank Shorter, a Middletown native, won the Olympic marathon in Munich, Germany. He brought attention to the marathon distance and road racing as a new sport and helped to launch the running boom. Here in his hometown, we created a race known originally as the Orange Classic in 1981. In 2005, a new team took over as managers, and we wanted to preserve the integrity and the history of the Orange Classic and that original flavor that brought it to being. The Classic 10K course, the primary features of it is that it's a scenic tour of Middletown, a historic tour. It is also the boyhood training ground, for the most part, of Frank Shorter when he ran these streets, when, believe me, nobody was running the streets of Middletown but him. So much has happened since 1972. It's an honor to be part of this team, and we hope that you will enjoy what we've created. We believe it's the flattest and fastest version of the Classic ever. It, again, cherishes the original route and the integrity of the route. And now that you have a start and a finish so close together, you have the ideal makeup for a world-class road racing event.
Hi, I'm George Shorter, one of the race directors for the Classic 10K. And I'd like to explain to you some of the new changes we made on our course for the 2009 Classic 10K. On race day, we're going to start right here on Gardner Avenue, right next to the Middletown Stadium, and head straight out Gardner Avenue up to East Main Street. We're going to make a right, hook into the regular course, and we'll proceed up normal like it did last year. And then we're going to make a left onto Grand, which is one of the new changes. A short little left on Grand, and we're right onto sharp right onto Railroad Avenue. And then we're going to hook right back left onto East Main Street and go right into the regular course, which will follow for the next 3-4 miles. Will be on the regular course. When we get to the top of Randall Heights, we're going to come down toward Watts Park, and then one other change will be we're going to make a left at Watts Park onto Watkins Ave, and we'll go up, we'll proceed up, and we'll make a right onto North Street for a short distance, and we'll make a left back onto Wisner Ave. And the rest of the race will follow right into here, onto the track. You have a stadium finish. Everybody watching and cheering you on.
Welcome back to Sports Wire. Now joining me in the studio, organizers of the Orange Classic, Frank Giannino and Wayne Beam. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Frank, it's no wonder this event has been so successful in the 29 years that it's been going on. Your great love of running. You ran across the great United States twice. Bring us back to when this whole idea got started to hold an event in Orange County.
The idea was born by John Sheff, then the general manager of the Times-Herald-Record. I had recent publicity from my exploits of running long, and John called up and wanted to pick my brain. I brought a friend, Bob Bright, to that meeting, and the result of the meeting was the birth of a 10K event to celebrate the Times-Herald-Record 25th anniversary. And by the middle of July, that summer of '81, we had ourselves a community event that brought businesses and community together, celebrated through running, and that business model is what has continued all these years.
How have you seen it just explode? I mean, can you compare how many people were in the first one to what it is now?
Well, in the first one, we had as many as we have now, so there's really been quite a change in landscape over the many years, just because there's more choices. People are more selective about health. But back then, everybody was competitive in 1981. We were at the beginning of the first running boom. We're at the beginning of the second one now, according to the numbers, and so it was an exciting time period.
Yeah, Wayne, why do you think this event has consistently grown and consistently attracted more people in the community, more businesses?
I think two reasons. It's a local event. It's always been considered a local event with a world-class feel. At that time, Frank Shorter was still one of the top runners in the country, Olympic gold medalist, and he's from our little town. So I think he was the draw, and I think like Frank said, it was at the time of the running boom. So we had, everybody was getting into running. You brought this world-class runner to our town who's from Middletown. And I just think everybody was curious, everybody was running, and it went so well the first year that everybody wanted to come back. including myself. I ran it in the very first one. I was just out of high school, and that even if I went to college, if I was living someplace else, I always came back to run this race.
Well, people have been coming back for 29 years.
Exactly.
You help people get ready for this race by training. Just talk a little bit about how you help people get ready for the weekend, which is this weekend. This year, it's the June 13th and 14th.
Yeah, about 7 years ago, actually 8 years ago, Bill Burr, who was head of sports at the Times Square Record back then, and myself got together and we said, you know, how do we get people in shape for this race? They had just changed the course, so I said, well, why don't I have some training runs and get people in shape for the race and also let them learn about our new course. So we put a little ad in the paper, and I got a few bottles of water. I thought maybe we'd get 3 or 4 people, and 70 people showed up. Yeah. So I was kind of caught off guard, and then each week it went from 70 to 80 to 90 people are showing up for a training run. And that year it just did very well, and then so I said let's try it again. So we did it the following year, and now I'm on my 8th year doing it.
You mentioned a course change when you first started this 7 or 8 years ago. There is a course change again this year. What is different that people need to expect, Frank?
Well, the changes at the mile point. We go from Grand Avenue and loop down to Railroad Avenue and head back onto East Main Street. We have also a change at Watts Park where we turn left onto Watkins Avenue, go to North Street, and come down to the bottom of Wisner Avenue and head to the finish at Cherry Street and the track. So those are the 2 subtle changes. The other big change is the start. Wayne and George designed the final route. We don't want to be certifying courses anymore like we have for years. So the firm and final starting place is right by the baseball fields, by the new athletic facilities at Middletown High School on Gardner Avenue.
What kind of a relationship have you built with Middletown, and what can their new Fowler Field facility really add to this race?
Unlimited potential. You have a beautiful a monitor across from the bleachers that can just literally tell the story as it's happening, and an opportunity to pan 600 meters of finish area from the time people get on from Cherry Street and onto the grounds to the finish. You have all kinds of technological integration that could take place, you know, as far as showing scores and information, and sponsor fulfillment's a lot nicer because of the scoreboard. But the facilities themselves are just world class. The track, how fast it is, the fact that it's the surface they used in the Barcelona Olympics, and it's IAAF standards. The bleachers and the facilities and the concession stand. It doesn't get any better.
It helps. The
potential's unlimited.
The prestige of the event. Wayne, you're a Middletown track coach. You've been around the track. You've seen the Midi Invitational go off, which the Middletown boys won. The A&D Section 9 track championships were just held over there. How have you seen the track run? How have those events gone?
Well, I don't want to give away my age, but I was actually a senior when Middletown put the first all-weather track in the county. Other than West Point, ours was the first one. And I remember skipping out of gym class and running down just to run onto that track. So it's backtrack another 25 to 30 years. And to see this track is just unbelievable. I mean, we've had a few home meets there, a few modified meets. We just had the Section 9 championships there, and every coach just loves it. Everybody comes up to me and says, you know, state meets should be here. We should have, you know, sections here every year. Right. And it's just, like Frank said, unlimited. I mean, you know, technology is just top notch.
What feedback have you gotten from the runners? I know the coaches, you said, you know, can only good things about the track, but what have you got from the athletes who have been on the surface?
Well, they all come to our place now to run fast times, because you got a top-of-the-line track, and if you get nice weather with top-of-the-line competition, you'll run fast. And that's what kids want to do. It's all about beating last week's time. So all the kids love it. They can't wait to run on our track. And not that there's not good tracks in Orange County, but most of them are 6 lanes. We have 8 lanes, 10 lanes for the sprints. You just don't find that anywhere.
It's going to serve as a good host for a starting and ending point for the Orange Classic. You mentioned a lot of sponsors, community events. Talk a little bit about the team in training part of this event, because it's become such a good vehicle for the Orange Classic.
Right. The goal all along has been to embrace business and community. The way you grow your event is by continuing and never stopping the networking process. So as we continue that, we've had the pleasure this year of being approached by a team in training to benefit leukemia and lymphoma. And they have a really well-organized plan all over the country where, you know, in the Hudson Valley, it's about 120 volunteers. I think we have 10 coming to this year's race. But they raise funds constantly. They're not just looking at one event. And they've chosen our race to go ahead and participate in to raise $500 each to 10 people. So that's a start. Definitely. You know, the more of these organizations that take an interest in community events like this, the better for everybody.
Well, as we wrap up here, for both of you, what are you hoping for the day? What are you hoping for the future of the event? Obviously, it's been proven successful, a healthy day, and continue healthy for the future. Wayne, we'll start with you.
Well, I always hope for nice weather. You know, it's really tough when we get rain or bad weather. So my first thing is I always check the week leading up to the race to hope that it's going to be warm. Not as hot as last year, right, but nice weather, that everybody has a great time. You know, only one person can win, so everybody else just has to have fun.
Exactly. Frank, what about you?
That's it. I'd say the only thing more than fun to me is safety. If all our mechanisms are in place and luck is on our side, of course, in the end, that everybody has a safe time and, of course, fun. We want to walk away having a good time, you know, having a good memory.
It will be an entire weekend event over there at Middletown High School and in the city. It is June 13th and 14th. Up next, we'll talk to the athletic director over there for the Midi Bears, David Coates. Don't go away. You're watching SportsWire.
Face forward. Frank Shorter has some words for us.
Yeah. Hi there, everybody. First off, I would like everybody to realize this street where you're going to start, if this is your first 10K, this is the street on which I ran to and from school up here in Veraldi when I was 11 years old, and this is where my running started. For those of you who are looking for an excuse why you didn't run well after, the weather isn't going to be it. This is no excuses weather. Those of you going for a personal best, I think you can do it today. Yeah! Okay. Press truck, it's all up to you.
There's a pack of 11 guys. 11 guys. Woohoo! And the leader is number 4.
Well, you have to run down the hill like, you know, you have like you some wings. That's cool down here.
Pressing the base again.
Mike, I'm telling you, these guys are going to sprint to the finish. Nobody's breaking.
It's going to be a mad sprint at the end.
Yeah, I know. If they go,
like someone pushes and then, you know, everyone else is responding.
They go.
They're all looking good. Still anybody's race.
Yeah. They're coming, man. It's going to be a sprint. Let it go straight ahead. The rest of them can go to the track.
miles, and the guys kept exchanging at 6 miles. They're all there, but then that guy I think did the timing right and just unleashed it when it counted most.
When you were coming in this last lap here, do you think you had the kick?
I knew everybody had pain, so the little I just put in, that the other guys will feel the pain too. Yes.
Welcome back to Sports Wire. Now joining me in the studio, the Middletown Athletic Director, David Coates. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Before the break, we were talking about the famous Orange Classic road race. Of course, Middletown has a big role in that race. Just talk about your relationship with the organizers at the Orange Classic.
Well, it's just been unbelievable. We're just one part of the community, and it's really our pleasure to be connected with the organizers of the Orange Classic, and we take on a role, and we feel like it's a necessary part for us to being part of the community, and the school district always likes to reconnect with the community, and this is a fabulous piece for us to do.
Now this answer might go on for a while because there's so much opportunity over there with your new complex. What can the new Fowler Field add to the Orange Classic?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Pick a starting point.
Well, it's been a dream for a lot of us involved, at Middletown High School and the district. I think the main piece is to reconnect our community back to the track, which we've lost, in a number of years with not having a track and having it condemned, and now to what we have now, the IAAF Bine and BS 1000 track, which is just phenomenal, and to have our community members and throughout the Orange County and surrounding counties to be able to participate on that, that's probably one of the most for me as the athletic director. But the Jumbotron scoreboard, which is going to be available that day, and just all the other amenities, the field house. I know that Frank Giannino and Wayne and their group, they're going to use all the amenities underneath the field house, and all of our timing systems would be available. But I know that we're going to work out a lot of those kinks. But the entire feel of the campus, it's like a college feel campus, and to be able to use that and have that available for everybody, I think, is going to add to the whole day. Actually, a whole weekend.
Yeah, it is an entire weekend. There's a ton of stuff going on, even when the runners have hit the streets. Just talk a little bit about some of the activities that are going to be happening solely at the Middletown High School.
Well, I think the main thing is on Saturday, which we're really trying to connect with our K through 8 population. So immediately in our school district, trying to get our kids out to the track. They're going to have a kids' day, running a mile races, the 100-yard dash, the 200, 400 meter races for the kids, and the health expo that's surrounding the classic is another big feature that's really an important piece of the whole weekend. And then to run the 5K and 10K on the Sunday. But really, the school is open, and the organizers know that, and our buildings and grounds, and central office administration, and high school administration, and teachers, and students, and our MAC club is part of the helping, and I know a lot of our board members come down and help in the concession stand. It's just a really nice community event, which we're very happy to be part of.
So you do 4 laps, and we'll tell you how many laps you have to go each time you come around. And when you get on the last lap out here, come over to the finish, trying to use as little space as possible. In the same way, you're going to try to get to that first turn in as straight a line as you can.